Greetings. Greetings. It's Tuesday night. I have a special guest tonight. And I got to fix one thing and make this screen go away. Got it. And make sure that it's not yelling at me. It's on mute. So, hey, I have a question for you guys as I'm just kind of getting set up here. Do you know that water finds its own level? And I'm bringing that up only because the guest that I'm gonna share with you tonight, I couldn't find his group's level. Man, they're just out of this world what they do. And I'm just kind of an old guy that just kind of wants to be told what to do and have some set it and forget it stuff. But Micah is my guest tonight, and he leads up a Telegram group called Digital Newbies, or is it CWS Trifecta, I think, or both and I'm going to let him share with you what it is he and his group does. But when I don't have to tell all of you guys this. It's like I've only been in crypto since January, but in crypto years, I think that's like 15 years. There's so many lifetimes that go by because it just is so fast. And early on, gosh, I don't know if it was like April or May or whatever. I got introduced to Micah, and he helped me with what's called a 575E. We'll talk about that a little bit today, but mostly I'm really interested to explore where he's at with this CWS Trifecta and the Digital Newbies, because it was wild when I went in there. I mean, first of all, the nicest people on the planet. I mean, you go in there and there's just the most welcoming people that are the most supportive people. And I mean that with all my heart, Micah. The people that you have in there are just really good, salt of the earth people. But I had to exit because I just didn't get it. So I know there are a lot of people that don't get me. And so they'll probably get you. But if you just unpack for us, first of all, introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about, where you are. I know that you're in the States. When I first met you, you were in, I believe it was Cyprus.
Cyprus, yeah, that's correct.
Excellent. Well, welcome to the show, Micah.
Thanks so much. What do we say? Uncle
V.
Uncle V. Uncle V. Okay.
Uncle V works.
Uncle V. All right. So my name is Micah. I am, born in Los Angeles and was raised in Sweden. After high school, I moved back to LA. I became kind of a model commercial actor. Spent 10 years doing that. Always had an entrepreneurial sense to me. So I was always that guy who was doing something. And I was the guy who was always selling someone on something that I wanted to do. And 3 months later, when they saw me, they asked me about that thing. And I that was 2 things ago.
Right. Yeah.
So I spent a lot of time wondering if I was that guy who would just talk about it and never do it. And, got a little bit more mature. And then finally I got something going. And it sort of was that it was sort of proving to me that maybe I wasn't that guy who was just talking about all talk and no action. Mm-hmm. But always on to the next thing if something didn't work out, because I couldn't stand not being into something that may work. I would be depressed if I was just doing what I was doing or something that wasn't big, so I was always in the works for that. Inner feeling that I would have like tremendous success, but been through times in my life where like maybe I've questioned it, if that feeling was just everybody has it, but it doesn't happen for everybody, blah, 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 blah. Mm-hmm. And so in the last 12 months, all of those things that I thought have been manifested has really been thanks to the blockchain, I have to say.
So thanks to the blockchain, thanks to crypto, would you share with us a little bit about you and your group, your team have kind of a unique strategy on, I think, finding best way I could describe it. I was trying to tell my wife what it's going to be like, and she's no crypto queen, I'll tell you that, but she does know Shiba Inu. And I'm like,
Okay.
these are the people that found Shiba Inu before Shiba was an Inu. I mean, I swear.
Yeah.
So why don't you just tell us about your group, where people can find you, and what it is you guys do?
So CWS Trifecta, the thing is, I went on this run with crypto with different programs, and I went from 0 to 7 figures in 4 months, basically. And then we were doing one thing, and all the sort of top people, we were sending stuff back and forth and getting into all these different programs and coins and all this stuff. So this is just happening on a one-to-one basis. And then I thought, I'm like, okay, so, but this, and I said that, well, this is what this is, being diversified, being involved in a lot of different things, and it's not being shared with the larger group. It's just, Jeremy sending me something, and then I called James, because we're all like, kind of balling and doing it. And then I'm like, well, why can't the group hear what's really going on? So then I started CWS Trifecta as a way to have something that stayed consistent, because some things, they don't go that long, and things happen where, people are involved, and one day they go to the website and it's gone.
Yeah.
And so I figured, like, okay, so there's a lot of volatility, there's a lot of scams, there's a lot of craziness going on, but at the same time, I managed to make a ton of money doing exactly what I was doing. So I said, why don't people just get to know everything that I'm doing, my strategies, and teach people like the philosophy of success. A lot of people don't know what that is. Like, you have to have the risk tolerance, you have to have courage, you have to be committed, and all those things, so that's sort of what the community became about. It's about becoming wealthy in 3 to 5 years.
Okay.
Through this amazing industry, which is the best opportunity that's ever been presented for the regular average person. The growth of it is insane. And the multiples are crazy. Like, how much you can make on your money in this space is absolutely astounding. And you know that, Uncle Todd. So then we just started doing a call every Saturday.
Okay.
And it was wealthy in 3 to 5 years. And then it's NBA, which is never broke again, because I dealt with some people who I know were pulling in $50,000 a month. And then we're talking about doing a thing, and it's like $600 and they don't have it. And I'm like, oh, I mean, if how do you go from that to not having it?
Yeah.
So I'm like, it's very important that we focus on that. It's not just about, earning it and getting there. It's about staying there. It's about having it. And you have to diversify, and you have to kind of play your cards right. It's strategy.
Well, I'm curious with your strategy then, because I know back when I first got in, and we all enjoyed that run, from really when I got in January to, I think, May, up until Elon Musk, I think, went on Saturday Night Live. That was the run up. And I thought I was just really, really good at this stuff, but what I found is, I gave a ton of it back, right? Because I didn't have any kind of strategy to, when the market goes like this, it's like you just hold on. But what happens is, when you're in that FOMO phase, when they, whoever they are, but when they, let's just say there's a they that pull the trigger and decide to liquidate all of the longs, and they do with Bitcoin anyway, the whole market comes after it. And I wrote it all the way down because it happened so fast, and so my, painfully, I went from basically 3xing my money to went back to, I mean, let's just say it was 1,000. I mean, my initial investment was $500.
Mhm.
There was a point in time when I was with my wife at her birthday and I was showing her my Blockfolio app. And I said, wonder how much money we're going to make over dinner, because it was just in that super
Yeah.
hyperbolic phase. And, it went from the 500 to, 1500. And then bam, it just went back down. And I think the lowest, again, using that scale, would be it got into the mid 350s. And it was so now I'm adopting a different strategy where I'm starting to take some profits and pivot. And so I'm curious how you go about it, because when you were saying that you went from nothing to how many figures did you say? 7 figures? I was
Yeah.
going to ask how much you gave of it. How much of it did you give back?
Well, here's the thing, the longer you're in the space,
Yeah.
the more you you feel that there is no giving back or in or out necessarily, right? Because the dollar is just another coin, and the dollar really is a shit coin.
Mm-hmm.
Because had you had an argument with someone in 2011 about Bitcoin, and it was a matter of $1,000 in Bitcoin,
Mm-hmm.
and the person you're arguing with said it's bullshit, it's a Ponzi scheme, it's fake money, don't do it, don't waste your money. You throw your 1,000 at Bitcoin in 2011, and you bump into the guy in the street in 2021. Your 1,000 is now 50 million. His 1,000 is probably about 400 or less in buying power.
Yeah.
Should he not be like, in agony about holding on to the shit coin when you bought the Bitcoin?
Yeah. Right.
Should it not be as painful that he made
Right.
a decision to stay in the dollar as it is for us when our portfolio goes down by 50%?
Yeah. Yeah.
So what are you committed to? Are you committed to the dollar, or are you committed to the future of money? Because then it doesn't matter where your portfolio goes, as long as you don't sell, right? If you don't sell, or if you sell and then maybe you buy back in or whatever. But
Well, I love the people that when it goes up and then it goes down, the people that are like, well, you should be celebrating to buy the dip. You should be buying the dip. And I'm like, with what? With what, when you're fully deployed? And that was just my big bold move, because I'm an older dude, and so I did the, as self-directed IRA, and so I went all in on crypto. So that was, it was I didn't lose money because I didn't sell. I'm just saying that it came back down,
Right. So then if there's listeners who are new to this, that is what volatility is.
Yes.
Volatility sounds so kind and nice, but it can freak you out, because you buy at whatever, you buy at $100, it goes to 50, and you definitely go through an emotional experience in that. So part of that is just what it is, that you have to go through those emotions to learn the industry, and you have to know that you're gonna be down, because you can never pick the bottom. It's just how it is. You can never pick the bottom. So that's why I talk about 3 to 5 years. When you put your money there, consider that a 3 to 5 year thing, right? And during that time, you could be 80% down. But, for me, like, there's only a few of these tokens that I don't believe in long term. I know for a fact that across the board, what I'm holding, there are some things that I hold that will pay my whole portfolio.
All
if
right.
I lose everything else, it will pay for all of that and then some, right?
I hope one of them, which when I did come to one of your Saturday morning chats, I picked up some M2. Tell us, what do you think about M2?
M2 is incredible. M2 is a mathematical certainty.
All right, you got to unpack it.
They brought in, without any PR, without any, and this is my phone blowing up because we got this new thing and people are like absolutely flipping out. So sorry about the bling, bling, bling.
No worries.
But M2 brought in $350 million in liquidity without going on CoinGecko or CoinMarketCap, without doing any advertising.
Yeah.
Turning down investors from from institutional buyers, millions of dollars, because they wanted to organically grow a community around this token. So they have basically understood that, looking at how they built that chain and built that code, that it is a mathematical certainty that it's going to hit $1. So you bought it at half a penny, so you should do really well on that token.
Yeah.
But it's not an overnight thing. It's not a pump thing. It's a solid token that's not going to actually be as volatile as anything else, because that's how they built that thing. But they're just now, all the data got turned on because they're in the process of being listed on CoinMarketCap or CoinGecko. So now they're actually going into the phase of becoming more public. And there's some things going on there.
So we'll be able to
and things.
We'll be able to load them up in our apps and be able to see.
Well, yours is sitting in your MetaMask. It should be sitting in your MetaMask, but you will see the value in your MetaMask now.
Yeah, it's doubled.
That's the first step to what's coming.
Yeah.
So in our community, those are the kind of things that are happening. We're finding out about stuff, and 4 days ago we found out about this company because the first person that I was talking to in crypto in 2015 is part of this corporate team. This company has built a system that replaces what banks do for huge companies. They just closed a deal with the Vatican to do their processing. When they go in and do processing for companies who have employees, when they pay their employees, let's say you have a company that does 20,000, they have to pay 20,000 people every 2 weeks. It's $2.50 a person, which is $45,000. So $90,000 a month in fees to pay their people. This company has built a system, it's not been easy, to actually go in and be able to offer that service where instead of the company paying $90,000 out, they're getting $50,000 in, because they can turn the company itself into the bank using this technology.
Wow.
It is the most incredible thing I've heard in my entire time in doing crypto. And they have nodes, and we've been selling the nodes, and I've netted about $34,000 in 3 days because people are so blown away at how huge that opportunity is. And I believe a node would retire somebody, and they're $1,100 and they're flying off the shelf. They have 20,000 of them, and they're going to be gone in 4 weeks. I know it.
How do people buy them?
They get a link, they click on the link, they set up they fill out a form, and then they pick how many they want to buy. They send in Bitcoin or Ethereum, and then they have the nodes, and then once a day they click a button, and the node is part of the verification that needs to happen to do these payments, because it's getting a piece of all of the transactions that company does for the rest of the life of the company. And we're talking about some big names that have been mentioned that I can't say on here, but they're already doing it. They did $20 million in transactions in the last few months, and it's about to just go nuts. But part of that is the node is part of verifying, just how a Bitcoin miner is a part of verifying a Bitcoin transaction. It's the same thing here. So somebody who owns this owns an ATM machine that just prints money online all day long. It's
now you said but you have to interact with it daily.
30, you start it, it runs for 30 minutes. This is I think it's an SEC thing. You can't have it on automation. You have to go in, click, because it has something to do with how you receive your funds and what you do with your funds, some kind of law rule, whatever. But you have to go in, click start. It runs for about 30 minutes and then you're done. And it basically just downloads their token. It downloads their token because you're getting a piece of the fees that would normally be going to the bank.
Interesting. So it can be done on PC, Mac.
Yeah, right now you're looking at only desktops and laptops, no phones, but they're working on getting approved for the phones. And once they get approved for phones, you can run it on your phone.
Well, how big is the blockchain then?
It's just it's a software. As far as like the tokenomics, token, white paper, all that is in the works. There's some laws around that. And I'm not saying the name of the company here because, language is very important, but they can't even say token yet. They can only say points, because until you have your everything approved and verified and through that application process, you can't even say token. So they're calling it points right now. But, I got 15 nodes. I'm doing about 5,000 points per day. We're looking at what the value of these points could be when they start trading it as a token in the future on an exchange. And we're looking at maybe matching it up with a BNB price, because we're essentially disrupting banking with this system.
Wow.
And it's that mind-boggling. It's absolutely incredible.
So in our Telegram chat, our personal one, you have to drop me a link or some information to it. I'm interested.
Oh no, I mean, I did a call, and I'm not a hard closer. When I pitch and I sell, I'm not a hard closer. And usually I pitch something because I want to do it myself. So I'm selling from that point. This thing, I told people if they needed to sell their refrigerator, do it. Because if they don't get this node, and if they're my friend and they say no to me, I'm going to haunt them with the numbers later. I swear to you. Because I'm that committed to that people who hear me speak take that chance, right? Because everything in crypto is a risk. Absolutely. We know that. But when you have a company that's already doing it and they have transactions of 20 million and they just closed the deal with the Vatican, competing with 100 other companies to do the same thing, then the risk kind of gets a real diminished, because when you can actually save a company millions of dollars when they pay their employees, you got a business. And so that's what that node is based on.
Why would they need people to pay for nodes? I mean, why wouldn't, if they're generating that much cash?
Decentralization needs a network.
Okay.
So for them to set up themselves as that, it's not a true thing, Okay. So why does Bitcoin need miners? Why can't the guy who invented Bitcoin do it himself? That's not what this is. That's not what this world is. This is about decentralization. I think everybody who's involved in it, they want to see prosperity. They want to see success. They want to share. The person who runs this company, he was born literally in a house that was for dogs. He was abused by his father. He is that guy who wants to help the world.
Wow.
Truly. Passionate guy, amazing man. And, I don't go for that. I don't go for the, we want to help the world. But, this industry kind of is that, right?
Yeah, it sure can be in a lot of ways. I mean,
of course, I want to be successful. I want to make more money. But right now, I'm looking to see who I can help and bless with this thing, because I don't need to sell it, because the 15 nodes are millions. I know that. From what I see, my opinion, put that out there. But this call isn't all about that. I just wanted to put that out there because it's
that's good.
Crazy.
Well, that's the kind of stuff that you guys discover, which is very cool. Now with these nodes, so you have to be committed. Like, I'm thinking about myself. Okay, well, if every single day you have to fire these suckers up for 30 minutes, what happens if I travel or if I'm on vacation? I guess it's take the laptop with me everywhere I go, huh?
It's like that, man. I'm estimating thousands a day. So you get to click a button and make thousands a day.
Right.
And you miss a day? Yeah, you could miss a day and you just miss a day. But
I see.
It's going to go for the rest of your life. So you miss a day, you're not going to be distraught over it. It's so much money, you can probably train a monkey to do it.
Yeah.
So it's not even like that. And one node right now is $1,100. I spent 12 grand for my Gala nodes. It's a gaming company. I bought 2 of those for 24,000. I'm making about 100 a day on those. This is 1,100. Every 500 they sell, it goes up $50. At the end of this run, the nodes are going to be about 5 grand. And then when the 20,000 are sold, they'll never sell and they'll never need another node again. That's going to be the network that supports the transactions that this company is doing. And I was told they're talking to a country to do their transactions for them.
So what could go wrong?
The big deal. I mean, okay. So the SEC was after them because SEC is basically protecting banks and the whole financial system. So they're disrupting that. They had a 3-year basically battle defending themselves against them. They just basically got through that. So that's done. That was just posted online. So there's a response letter, blah, 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 but they got through that. So they're through the worst of the worst. Once they go public with this Vatican deal, which means people are gonna see that they were chosen over hundreds of other applicants. So when you have something that is so groundbreaking that you can walk in and save companies millions, then I'd have to be real creative to figure out what could go wrong. But again, things can go wrong. We know that. But the tech is in place and they're already doing it. So I can't figure it out.
Wow. Okay. Well, I want to link.
Hey, listen, here's the thing, right? We know the space we could lose it. We could buy Shiba, put $1,000 in Shiba. Shiba could just be 0 tomorrow. We know that.
Yeah.
So you could put $1,100 here. The math says the upside, you're a millionaire. The downside, you lose 1,100.
Right.
I'm the type of guy who says, I take that risk.
Right.
I go to Vegas, we're buying a cabana for 5 grand just to, be there and have fun and look at hotties, right?
Yeah.
So I can't drop $1,100 to kind of almost certainly become a millionaire, but something can go wrong. We know that.
Right. Well, I'll be eager to look at it and kick the tires. And I'm with you. I mean,
you do a node, and your audience will buy the nodes from you, and that's how I made my $33,000 because I
was gonna say I'm not just gonna buy one node.
I bought 15, and I'm gonna put my company into the thing and get another 15. That's how confident I am.
So should I sign this up with my 575E?
Well, I signed up with me. There's no social security that goes into the system because you get paid. You get a debit card. The whole system, you become part of it, so you can get paid that way as well. But then you can sign your 575E as well. And I think you can start with doing that, but I don't know if it's necessary to be exempt, because
so then you get a debit card. So at some point it transfers to fiat
directly. Yeah, they can pay people in 160 countries with fiat. That's what their system, and they can press a button. So if you have an international company, they can literally pay people directly to all the countries with the press of a button. That's what they have.
All right. So your daily routine then, since you've been doing it for what, 3 days?
Yeah, I think it's 3.5.
And so what do you do?
Well, there's a lot of people who've never been in crypto before because I have a friend. I've been working with professionals or people who've been involved for a while, so they know a lot about it. So there's less coaching going on. But because I open it up now for people who've never done it before, I'm basically like really teaching them the basics, like wallet, download it, get the Bitcoin, send it in, so I'm on Zooms and I'm basically coaching and helping that, trying to get my personal referrals to learn it well enough to not need me on calls. But after 3 days, it's obviously not, going to happen that fast. So it's back to back to back, basically just sales after sale after sale, and people coming in wanting 15 and wanting 10 and wanting 3, and so it's not MLM, it's 2-level affiliate program. They didn't want to do an MLM, and probably for legal reasons as well. But it's only 2-level. You get 30% on your first level, you get 10% on your second.
Okay, I got you.
Someone buys 15 notes, you're gonna make about $5,000.
Got it. See, that was
and a lot of people are buying 15 notes.
Yeah, that was the hardest part for me when I was in your group. Was it felt like a lot of it was that multi-level marketing, to where you have to go out to your warm market. And I frankly was just so new into crypto that I didn't really know other people who were into crypto that would even have a clue. So then I have the people on my channel who are, my channel's dedicated to crypto newbies. And I really, really didn't feel comfortable suggesting anything to them, even though I know you and like you and trust you. But I don't know. I just don't know what I don't know. So when you start talking,
let's look at that for a second, because let's just be kind of transparent here.
Yeah.
MLM has the stigma, and it's because you have a lot of people that get sold into it under false pretenses. They say, hey, there's a ton of money to be made. You refer 2 people, they refer 2 people. All of a sudden you're making hundreds of thousands of dollars. Right. And then they go out from that meeting and start chasing their friends around, right?
Yeah.
And what is it that their friends need to do? Well, they need to, first of all, they got to buy something. Then they have a monthly bill all of a sudden. That's network marketing, right?
Yes.
That's not what we do. Yes, there are levels, but what we do is we have programs that will pay you passively on your crypto. You put it in, you make a commission every day back on it. You do not have to tell a soul to make money. You did not create a bill for yourself. You created an income for yourself. Okay. Now, if you refer someone because the company wants more customers, of course, what's the best way to reach the world? If they hired a sales team internally that sat in a room, they have to now have an office space. They have to have a bunch of phones, and they have to have a bunch of salespeople who have to have a basic, pay, and they got to pay their insurance, and then be able to sell all over the world from that room. It's not going to happen. That's why they got to have levels, because you need salespeople to refer salespeople to have the reach that you need. So mathematically, that's the best way to expand the customer base. That's the best way. Now, because these things are passive, there's no stress, right? On this thing called Hyperfund, which is set up by Ryan Zhu and Sam Lee, who own 40 exchanges, 12 of the top ones in the world, and are angel investors in Binance. They got a program that I'm in. I respect these men. They pretty much saved the industry with their own money back in the crypto winter in 2014. They're paying me 15% a month on my crypto. If I rebuy with the money they're paying me, rebuy their packages, I can do a 10x on my crypto in a year. I can turn 10,000 into 100,000. And so I'm excited to put my money behind them, because they're building this incredible ecosystem. They're going to build a decentralized Amazon. They're building a social media. They're building news. They're building all kinds of stuff. So they're bringing the community to them, but they're rewarding the community for that. Is there a negative there? No. So am I going to tell somebody there's a place where you can do 15% a month on your money? Do you know of anything like that in your life? No? Okay. Well, that's what I do. I help people with simple stuff like that. Every time the money adds up to $50, they can buy another package, and they get these rewards called HU units. And we stay away from any financial talks. It's just rewards. They're buying packages, and that's how the money actually becomes more. So levels they need, because they can't expand without it. They can't have a bunch of salespeople in offices all over the world to try to sell their product. They have to have the levels. It's only negative in the old model where you got a bill, you paid your friend $500, then you got a bill for 50. 2 days later, you realize you can't sell this. It's too hard, and it's a negative experience. That's
Right.
the stigma.
Yeah. Yeah. And we've all been there. We've all gone through it. What do you think of Hex and their model?
I haven't looked at it. I've heard this a couple of times. But a lot of things come through, and I just haven't been able to check them out.
Yeah, it's either it's usually people are passionate one way or the other. They're either, quite the scam. My $1,000 is now worth $50,000. What a scam, And then you have people who it seems to be are a little more old guard that are like, no, when the music stops, there's going to be a rug pull and a lot of people are going to get hurt.
Tons of Ponzi's. Usually when you look at a platform and they're promising whatever they're saying they're going to pay you, and you don't know who they are, there's no owners, there's no information, and then there's a percentage they're going to pay you. If it's really high, you'd like to know how they're doing it, and if it's too high, then you kind of have to assume that it's not a real business. It's just kind of a Ponzi.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I'm invested in Hex, but I did take some profits today to get my ETH to be able to buy 15 notes from you.
So I mean, you pull your money out. The idea is you get your principal out.
Yeah.
So if you find yourself in a game like that, because it's too hard to say no, you want to find out how long they've been there, right? So if they've been doing it for 3 months, you probably don't want to do it. If they've been doing it for a week, great. If you can make your money back in 2 weeks or whatever, then hey, you might want to play that game. That's Vegas, So you get it out, you might make some profit, and maybe that personality, you like those things. But if you're referring people, be fair to them and say, hey, it might be a Ponzi. It's like,
right.
You want to play this, play it. Be
careful.
Never put any more money than you can lose. Because they're going to come, those things are going to come around. And you're not really going to catch the people. And here's the thing that shifted with me, Todd, is that I used to sort of feel that I needed to be responsible for other people's money, And I've learned that, first of all, if you're going to be an entrepreneur, you got to put your big boy pants on.
Yeah, that's true.
You cannot be a little girl. Like, I'm not saying girl, I'm saying you can't be a wuss. Okay?
Yeah.
So when you decide to let your money go somewhere, that's you. That is not the person that referred you. It's on you. And if you happen to lose, congratulations, you learned something. There's not a successful entrepreneur in the world that hasn't gotten taken several times over. And it's what makes them, that's what makes them great. It's the losses, it's the mistakes, it's the screw ups. Nobody gets there without getting beaten up.
Yeah.
So if you don't want to be beaten up, you also don't want to be rich. It doesn't happen without that experience. Don't hate, just take it, understand it, learn the game. And if you want to win at that particular game, you can. I know I can beat those guys. I've chosen, because there's so many good things that are going on that I'm not even playing with that kind of stuff anymore. I get it sent all the time. I look, okay, how do I go? Okay, fine.
Yeah.
But that's the reality.
How's your real estate going in Cyprus?
Great. It was my side gig. I was able to take, obviously, profits out of crypto directly into real estate.
Yeah.
In Northern Cyprus. Northern Cyprus has a 2.5% capital gains tax. So if I ever sell over there, it's great. It's outside of Europe. It's outside of the States. There's extremely crypto friendly, and you buy some real estate there. You get permanent residency. Then I started referring some friends to it. I sold 10 units, and I saw the numbers, and I had done 75% of the agency's volume, and they have 50 agents.
Wow. No kidding.
So my real estate career took off like a rocket.
Unbelievable.
But it was because I was just, right place at the right time. So I'm going back there on the 29th. They have a grand opening for where I bought mine.
Yeah.
Oceanfront. My apartment, they're actually building the kitchen out and the rooftop. So I'm going out there. I got them to hire a girlfriend that I had in my 20s who was on Baywatch. So she's flying out there to sort of, be part of the grand opening.
Nice.
And we can use that for marketing.
Yeah.
Because they're building a beach and a marina over the next few months to finish the project, a big restaurant and a bar.
Now, is that going to be where you live permanently?
No, I mean, I don't think so. I think it's just going to be like my getaway, go out there and
where you take your Baywatch babes. When I grow up, I want to be like you, man.
I was going out with this girl, and she was an actress, and she went to an audition, and she booked Baywatch while we were together.
Yeah.
And I was a struggling model, and her life turned around like 180%.
Wow.
And she's going to these fancy dinners. I can't afford it. And, I ended up actually, leaving the relationship because it was just too
expensive.
I was too expensive, too young. And I felt like I was holding her back. So 2 days ago, I had dinner with her here, staying at this amazing hotel. And I asked her to come to dinner. And we talked about when we were kids.
Yeah.
And, I told her the story, and she was laughing because she thought it was because she was just this crazy chick. And she's telling me that, I was even very spiritual back then. And she said, everything you said to me, I didn't understand until 20 years later. She said.
Wow. That's so cool.
So we had a good meeting. And so she's super excited about coming out there. She's going to bring the Baywatch bathing suit. And she still looks absolutely incredible. Angelica
Really?
Bridges, if you guys want to look her up, she's a beautiful woman.
Oh, man, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Hey, quick question, 575E question.
Okay.
Do you have any of yours connected to an exchange?
No, I think we were working on Gemini. One of my people that I referred is working to set it up through Gemini, and they have a kind of a lot of paperwork to submit. So
yeah, it's
haven't fully done that yet.
Okay, I was just curious because I wanted
So
to.
your audience already know, or are we?
Why don't you go ahead and share a little bit about this wonderful 575E? I try to keep it kind of on the down low, but if anybody wants to, there's a link. There's a link down below.
Yeah. So. Okay. So just basically understand this, that they've the government is a corporation. The corporation can't deal with a living being. They can't deal directly with you. So they created an entity that maybe you think is you, but if you look on your license, you'll see that your name is in all caps. Mm-hmm. And if you look at all corporations are in all caps, so that gives you kind of the clue that what's on your license is an entity. Now, that entity is the worst entity to receive money to. So it's your name and that number, the social. When the money goes there, they love to take it from you. I mean, it's the worst thing because you're tied to it, right? So because you're tied to it, they can punish you, right? So if they can punish you, you're fearful of that. And so they charge you a lot of money. So what you try to do is you try to not have it go to your social. Now, if you're an employee, then it's hard to separate that, right?
Yes.
So every entity is created by the corporation of the U.S. Or California, whatever. It's created by that corporation. Because it's created by them, they own it. They control it 100%. That's why they have the powers they have over LLCs, C corps, even a 501c3, the nonprofits. They have full power over those because they created them. But the 575E, which is really an unincorporated association, they did not create that. It's unincorporated, and it's actually, one nation under God. It's under God, right? So that's what that's what they wrote this country to be, that we're supposed to be under God, not under state. The government's supposed to work for us, servants of society. So because the Constitution was written that way, there is an entity out there that is under God, and that entity is outside of the jurisdiction of the state. So this has no business what it does, as long as it's not doing crime. And it has a lot of advantages to instead of the money going to the entity that was created for you, the all caps letter on your license and the social security number. If the money goes to this other place, you have an extremely more beneficial situation when it comes to taxation and also liability,
Right.
Because you control the entity, you don't own it. And by law, you're not liable for the liabilities and debts of it either. So anything that you do on behalf of that entity stays with the entity. The entity gets sued, the entity But I think there's one time that an entity got sued and there was not much to do. So what I'm saying is you're very protected. Someone wants to come after you. If you have then donated all your assets to that entity, you still control all the assets. You live in the house, you drive the car, you spend the money, but it's not yours. So if you get sued, there's nothing to get, because they're going to look at your social and you're going to look like you're homeless, because nothing goes through that entity that was created for you, that the state created for you, that they fully control. So I've diverted everything over to doing it that way instead, because it's the worst thing is to run it through your own, that one entity that's tied to you, that literally, could have you end up in jail, through certain stupid financial.
Well, what I found interesting about it is that if you have W-9 income, it can go directly to this entity. And then if you want, because it is, a
self-supported foundation. So it's a foundation that needs to be financially supported, and you can do anything you want as long as it's not criminal to raise funds for it. So you can have a McDonald's that this foundation owns to raise funds for that foundation or association. They're synonymous. So there's nothing that you actually can't do to raise funds for it. At the end of the year, it's not profits there that stays there. It's reserves for the next year. So the foundation is never considered to be in profit.
And you're never filing for that.
It does not have an obligation to do that, because it's not under the jurisdiction of those who make us file, because we're internal. We're internal to them by contract, not by birth, but by contract. So that particular entity did not get created into that system. So it lives outside of that system. So it has no business with it.
So what about the W-9 employer? They, at the end, they need to file.
W-9, are you talking about W-2?
No, you have your W-2.
If you're an employee.
I'm sorry. 1099.
1099 is a contractor.
Yeah. So basically, if normally if I had 1099 income, I would get if I earned $1,000,
Yeah.
I would get the $1,000, and then I'm obligated to be able to file with my taxes and pay the 30%. Let's say it would be
because
fine.
that entity that it's paying, it's not you. It's paying that entity. That entity is the worst tax entity there is. So it's better that it pays that you say, okay, I don't want the money. Just send it to the association.
Yeah.
And the association is private. It's not.
But my question is, the association isn't filing anything then. I mean, they
It
can
has
get,
no requirement to report.
right.
It's
So
private.
that doesn't trigger anything.
So the ones that they want the write-off, so they're going to send in the paperwork. When they punch it into the computer at the 3-letter agency, they're going to see exempt status.
Exempt. Oh, exempt. Okay.
So they are not going to do anything.
Got it. Okay, that's a big deal. And
yeah. And I spent 15 years looking at what people were doing, because if you go look at America, Freedom to Fascism, if you watch that movie with Aaron Russo, they spend the entire documentary trying to find the law that says that we actually have to file.
Right.
And it doesn't exist, right? So there was a court case actually where
we are all under a spell.
I know. I don't know if these are triggering words for this platform, but I'm saying, if you watch that, then you know the whole thing. So
well, but what people should know,
I have not found something that was easy to do.
Yeah.
Even though I knew that it was a scam, it's a pain in the butt trying to live the way that a lot of people who are like on principle. It's a mess. This is easy.
Yeah, this was the easy button. I mean, it took a couple of months, but then one thing that I like about it is I can get paid my W-2 income. I can actually then donate that to this entity and take that as a write-off.
Exactly. Because you're donating it away from you into something else that owns it. You no longer owns it. However, you control it, but on paper, you do not own it anymore.
That's right.
So then it becomes a charitable.
Yeah, I'm just the secretary.
You can use your association to do good for people.
Yeah.
You can help kids. You can help, whatever you want to do.
Sure.
But yeah, that's what it is. And I have a 2-minute hard cut because I got to get on a call.
You got it. Well, this has been great. Why don't you let people know how to find you, and I'll drop it in I won't drop it in the chat because this is a live stream and it won't show up anyway, but I'll do it afterwards for sure.
All right. So can you email me to blisstravel@gmail.com? That's BLISSTRAVEL@gmail.com. To participate in our community, we do talk to you. I'm a community builder. I do it really well, and that's what you experience there is that the friendliness in the community is the demand and the value of it. Excuse me. So email me. We can set up a Zoom meeting. I want to meet you. The people that I like, I know I can help them, and I know you would love the community. If you want to find out about how to set up one of those associations, we do that too. If you want to get yourself a note, sell your fridge if you don't have the money. But I think Todd's going to be able to give you a link to get that done. But do it quickly.
If you get me all
up and they end up selling out.
Yeah, if you end up after this or after your next call, if you could just through Telegram send me everything I need to know, then I'll make sure that it gets put into this.
Right, and I'll send you a link for them to connect to my WhatsApp. If you can put that in description too.
Perfect. Okay. All right, brother. Well, this was fun. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right,
Thank you, Todd.
All right.
To you soon.
Thanks, everyone.
Appreciate
Cheers.
it.